Hey guys, my name's Colin Ledbetter. This is the Built Different podcast. I actually have a special guest in the studio with me, so I'm going to let him introduce himself.
My name is Officer Sean Miskovic. I currently work in the 3rd District for the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department.
How long have you been with the department?
Going on 4 years now.
4 years. Okay, so you came out of the academy, what year?
During COVID. Oh yeah, all COVID. 2001.
So you guys were in the academy class during COVID?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how was that? I've heard some interesting stories.
I was in a class, the one that was actually with Ricky Pettit and all them were ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the one right after them, and they actually had it worse. So it extended our stay in the academy from 7 months to really around 9 months. It was pretty rough. So we were literally sitting there after post, and for some reason couldn't get cleared because of COVID to get our post license. So we pretty much sat there for a month watching movies, doing nothing, wondering why we kept showing back up every day. But
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it was interesting.
So coming out into the street, you came out, did you come out in the summertime?
Yep, I came out, graduated March 18th.
Okay, so yeah, you were springtime for sure. Early on, who was your FTO? I probably don't know him.
My first FTO experience was rough. My first FTO got put in timeout 2 weeks in. So lost that FTO and then got moved to another FTO who he was having to work overtime to cover my shift for FTO. He was on night watch, which I sincerely appreciate him for that, but it just got to be way too much. I mean, 16-hour days every day just to train me. And obviously he couldn't give the best training because he was just exhausted all the time. So then I got moved again. So I got moved to Kurt Maples, who's actually out in Maryland Heights now as a detective. He's awesome. He had me, Sam Winkler, trying to train both of us at the same time. And then I had another guy named Kudian, who's in California now, trying to train me and another guy named Ryan Rasnick, who's on the bikes now. So it was nonstop, 3 people in a car, way too much at once. And then I finally got moved to Lauren Hamilton, who's a detective now down south, and I had her kind of for the remainder. So it was over.
I mean, would you chalk that up to manpower shortages?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whenever I came out and this was right before it got really, really bad. Whenever I came out in, I hit the streets in the summer of 18, and everyone was complaining so much about how bad things were.
Yeah. And
we would never deadhead a car. They were complaining because sometimes they would have to ride 41. That was the issue. And now I hear they're putting 3 officers on the streets in a district, and it's wild.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, if they only knew, because some of those guys have moved on now.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I had, for the most part, I had the same FTO my whole training. It was nice.
Yeah.
But,
I wish that was the worst of our problems, is just having 41 cars. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't envy you guys now, that's for sure. So early on in your career, and I had some more senior guys on here, I had some younger guys. So it always ranges differently. Early on in your career, most officers can kind of put their finger on something valuable that they learned from an FTO or whoever.
It would definitely have to be it actually was a guy that wasn't my FTO.
Mm-hmm.
He really took care of me. He still takes care of me now. Joe Busso, who's doing super high speed cool stuff that I'm just taking radio calls. But he always taught me, and he still says it to this day with the high status that he has, and he's a former Navy SEAL. He could have easily been, blow him off. He's nothing. He's just a probe, whatever. Has every right to, but he didn't. And what he always taught me was you could do any type of police work you wanted just by being a patrolman from that car, which stuck with me still to this day. It will always stick with me because I always hear other guys who come out of the academy now, and it's sad to say that I'm, considered a senior officer with 4 years on, because I don't consider myself that. it's funny hearing them whenever they really start to learn some stuff and they actually really start to try to work hard and get going and figure stuff out, that they, complain about certain things. And I'm like, dude, you can do everything you want. It's just a matter of time and of course manpower, like we always talk about, but you can do anything you want really from the police car. So
even on assignments a lot, I
oh
always
yeah,
remember getting assignments and you know, arresting people doing things like that. So
yeah,
it's across the board. My shooting was from a radio call.
right,
It's just that's any of that kind of stuff can pop out to be what it is.
yeah, definitely.
So what got you into policing?
Horrible in high school. Uh, Never got into trouble or anything, but I graduated with 1.7 GPA. I was awful. I really focused just on sports and my girlfriend at the time and just silly stuff. Never really had anybody in my family that was law enforcement. Had a lot of veterans, but my dad's side of the family is Croatian. My grandpa's from Croatia, with a lot of my family members that still are now in America, but they're from there. I can only imagine how the police are in Croatia. So never really had any relatives. I kind of got into it, honestly, because I was looking for a career, and I went to Merrimack for a little bit for soccer, and that was about, a semester or two, and flunked out of that too. So I knew I couldn't sit down all day behind a desk and look at a computer or do an office job, and I didn't have a college degree, and I was like, I feel like I'd be good at that, so I took a swing at it. So yeah,
That's a wild story because it actually relates a lot to mine.
yeah,
I graduated high school, pretty low GPA, went to college, played soccer for about a semester and a half, dropped out of college, joined the military, joined the National Guard. When I got back from basic training, I was like, now what am I going to do with my life? Because, the Guard's only part-time.
right,
And I was like, well, what do I... And I did the wildest thing I could do. I walked into St. Louis Police Headquarters and filled out an application. So, yeah, it's a lot of the same. So my next question, I get all sorts of different questions or answers to this question.
Sure.
But would you recommend this job? You don't have kids, right?
Not yet.
Would
Not
you
yet.
recommend this job to your future kids or a friend?
I can't speak. I already have for a friend who's actually my partner now, Chase Guerrero. Best friend since we were 5. He couldn't join the military because of his hearing, and I was like, I was already in the academy at the time, and I was like, you're looking for something to do, and he wanted to join the Navy. I'm like, honestly, you might see more stuff coming and working in this city with how crazy it is than what you would be doing in the Navy, and you might have more fun doing it. And he joined, and now he's still there, and we're partners now. But I guess I would absolutely recommend it for a friend. I guess it depends on the friend. For my own child, I get it's like a 2-part answer. I don't have children yet. I plan on having children. I would say if they ever came up to me and was like, Dad, I want to be a policeman like you, one side of me would probably be proud because they want to be like me. And then the other side would be like, oh my God, what did I do to this child to make him want to suffer like this?
Don't go to the city.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Turn right at the academy.
Yep.
Go the fire route. But
Yep.
yes, I would. All jokes aside, I would. I think it's still a honorable job, and I think the things that we do every day, I don't think an average human could really deal with. So
I would agree with that.
yeah.
I don't know if I'd recommend the city, but
Right. I agree with you on that.
So how do you decompress after work? I know a lot of guys, they sit out in their car for a little bit, they do stuff like that. It's important. So how do you do that?
Talking to my lovely wife, that's one of them. She is amazing with allowing me to give me time to decompress, actually, before going into everything that made me upset at work or just, is on my mind. But I'm a huge nerd. I love video games. I have a PC, a PlayStation 5. I'm a massive nerd, but sports, UFC, stuff like that, fighting. I play a fair amount of soccer still with the time that the city allows.
Yep.
So we just had our guns and hoses game actually. Police won, of course. You know, never gonna lose to firemen, but yeah.
Absolutely. So name some of your best times that you've had on the job.
Best times, right now is one of them definitely. With Chase, you know, just with my best friend. It feels like I'm not even at work.
It's amazing when you have a great partner.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I bet it's like you and Speece. You know, when you and Speece were together, it's like it just feels like you're not even at work. You know, like you get the arrests when you're looking for people and you're trying to do good police work, but then, you know, something stupid happens or whatever, and it's just you and your buddy in the car. And me and Chase, we hang out outside of work too, and the last thing we ever talk about is work unless it's a hilarious story of what happened.
Absolutely.
So I'd say right now is definitely one of them. When I first started too, I'd say that was probably one of the best times too, because I was naive and didn't know what was really out there or what was gonna, you know, happen to me. So but yeah, I'd say honestly right now is probably the best part of it. Yeah, right now.
So flip it a little bit. Worst times, and I know it's going to be a loaded question for you, but
worst times. Worst times is when I got shot for sure. Yeah, that was a worst time. 2 weeks prior to me getting shot, I actually overdosed, and they had to Narcan'd me like 7 or 8 times. So that sucked.
What caused it?
So stolen car. Starts going northbound on Broadway from Winnebago. I see it. I mean, it's a. Can I cuss on here or no?
I try to keep.
We'll keep it clean. That's fine. Yeah. It's a beat up car.
Yeah.
Beat up box. There's 3 people inside of it. Takes off from me. I'm kind of just watching it from a distance. It shuts off. Like I guess it gave out or the engine gave out. I don't know what happened to it, but it stops. 3 people bail out of it. I got super lucky. I don't know why they didn't choose to just all 3 run from me. They all just stopped when I told them to. So I'm searching the car. And while I'm searching the car, what I didn't know what they were doing is while they were actually trying to get away from me, they had all these capsules filled with fentanyl. And they were just, breaking all of them and I guess trying to put it out the window, trying to put it in the glove compartment, trying to put it everywhere that they possibly could so that I couldn't actually get the capsules itself. So when I go in there, there's like hundreds of cigarette ashes. This thing's been stolen for a while.
Yeah.
There's clothes, there's fluid, there's, just different things in here. And so I go in to search the car, just routine, whatever. Nothing's routine. So I open it, the center console, and when I open it, the white powder just like up in the air, and my face is like right over it, right in my face. And I step out of the car really quick, and my first thought immediately was like, I really hope it's not fentanyl. So I give it like, I don't know, probably like a minute, 2 minutes, and immediately, like, it was the weirdest feeling, Colin. It was like a spider web. It was cold outside, but it was like a spider web effect starting from the top of my head, and it went down my back, down my legs. It was down my whole back section until it was like all of my body was tingling. And I looked at my partner, Lucas Roethlisberger, who's in Intel now. I look at him and I was like, hey, something's not, I don't feel right. Something. And he immediately grabbed his Narcan'd and just sprung into action. And I kept kind of shrugging him away. And I'm like, not yet, not yet. I'm freaking myself out. I'm just freaking myself out. And he was like, dude, I'm going to Narcan you. I'm like, no, it's all right. So right after that, I was out cold. From what he has told me and from what my sergeants had told me that took me to the hospital is that Lucas Narcan'd me twice. While I was on the scene, I think the ambulance Narcan'd me 5 times. And then when I got there, how I woke up at the hospital was 2 like industrial tubes of Narcan in my nose, just like a flush. And that's when I sprung up and started looking around, and I'm like, what, what just happened to me?
Yep.
So right after that, I gave it like a week, came back to work, and I wanted to tough it out for all them and show, the older guys are on the squad, like, oh, that won't affect me. Don't worry about me. I'm right back. You know, I'm not going to sit out. I got shot the next week, so you know, ended up not working out great. But yeah, that was definitely some of the worst times, pain wise. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the shooting at all? Or
Yeah, absolutely, we can.
So, I don't know much about it. Was it a stolen car or was it a carjacked car?
So the car itself, it was a truck, Ford F-150. Earlier that day, there was a call for a robbery at SLU. Somebody had robbed one of the SLU professors with an AR-15. So we're looking around for this car all day long, as you know, any good policeman should be doing, right? So earlier in the day, it's interesting, actually. Two guys I know, thank God it didn't happen to them because that guy had a plan the whole entire time. His name's Cortez Sipes. The whole case is closed now and everything. So thank God he took off from them and they didn't chase him because the same result would have happened to them. And I'm happy that it didn't end up happening to them. So he takes off from them earlier in the day. So they put out a description. They're like, this is the car that's wanted for robbery, all this stuff. So it's, I don't know, probably 10:15. Me and my partner Lucas at the time are upset because we didn't get an arrest all day. And just nothing was working out. Every 28, every 27, not just nothing. No traffic stops, nothing. So we're coming up dry. We're both upset. And then all of a sudden, we're at Grand and Gravois. We're going northbound to go to the station. Coming eastbound on Gravois is the truck right in front of us. And we're like, we both look at each other. And I'm like, and Lucas is driving. I'm like, is that? And he was like, yeah, I think so. So right when we turned on Gravois, I mean, that thing was flying. Air One caught up. Air One was on it. He meant to turn onto the highway. Instead, he missed the exit on the highway and drove into Soulard. And he's from Walnut Park. Okay. So he had no idea where he was. So he's just going 60 miles an hour. I mean, up Menard, up Lamai, you know, these small streets with cars and people and bars and stuff. So I'm sitting there for a little bit and I'm like, this is getting a little dicey, you know, but Air One was on it, calling it out. So, you know, we had to stay on it and it was wanted for robbery. So he drives over the Soulard Market. I guess he thought it was a road. And he drives over it and he smashes one of those concrete pots, the big flower pots. I mean, he had to be going at least 40 miles an hour. I thought, you know, he was legitimately injured. Smashes into it. So we stop our car. His airbags are deployed. We can't see anything. There's smoke and everything. And so I get out and I own up to my mistakes. Because you know how it is in pursuits, right? They crash, they bail. That's it, right away. That wasn't the case on this one. He didn't even bail. You know, he crashed. I walked up to the car door with my taser, which no one ever do that, ever. Please learn from me. Don't do that. I walk up to the car door with my taser. He yells a cuss word at me. And he like opens, it was with the airbag that was dropped and then just the gun was up. And the first round already went off. So that was next to my head. I was already at his car door with it open. That was already next to my head. So when that one went off, and as I turned, I fired my taser because it was the only thing I had. I'm assuming it didn't hit him. As I turned to grab my gun and get cover, he hit me in my arm. And then when I got cover, I didn't know, because I mean the gunshot, I mean, it was nonstop. I didn't know if it was coming from Luke. I didn't know if it was coming from him, but it was nonstop. So I had retreated even further behind a tree. Finally was able to get my gun out, and then my hip was just like, felt like I got hit by a bus. I mean, it was a lot of force. I knew that one for sure. I was able to get off one round, gun jammed right away. My right arm's like barely working at that point. So I'm like, it's like shaking and I'm still firing. It won't fire. So, I don't know why my next thought was just to follow Lucas because I saw Luke chasing him. So I just dropped my gun. I threw my gun down and just started running. So I see Luke Luke's down in the alley. The guy didn't make it far. He got hit in the ankle. Luke's got him in cuffs. Cameron Beecher's down there. They're good. And poor Faulkner, I run up to him as he's turning the sirens off. And I come out of like the darkness. And I just start screaming at him. I'm like, I'm hit. I mean, you could see the fear in his face. He like backs up into the car and like almost shrieks. And we jump in the car really quick. And the photos of our car, I mean, the back windshield shot out. Our whole windshield's covered in bullets. I mean, the whole thing was just insane. But later on, we had court. Obviously, he was a convicted felon. He had a bunch of different narcotics on him too. He had a ghost gun, all kinds of different stuff. So he got 20 years, which, give or take, is that really fair? But yeah. So
glad to see you here.
Appreciate it.
Lucas both. Yeah. I love Lucas. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is.
I got to tell this story because Lucas is actually a good hero of mine. So whenever I first came out, there wasn't a whole lot of shootings in between there. We were coming on like right when the riots were just starting to get big again and stuff. I think I came out when the Stockley riots were first going on, and stuff like that. But Lucas had his first shooting.
Oh yeah.
And they always told that story in the academy and stuff like that. So when I came out, I knew exactly who he was, and he was on mobile at the time.
Yep.
My FTO, Kelly Smith, was good friends with Lucas, and mobile had chased a car up north, and we stopped by, and Kelly grabbed me by my carrier, walked me up. He said, "This is Lucas Roethlisberger. Shake his hand, and don't forget it." And I just always remember that now. So now every time I see him, I tell him that story.
Yep.
But he's a great guy.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. We're always going to be brothers after that stuff,
There's probably not a better guy in the department to get shot with.
Absolutely.
That sounds terrible, but someone who's already been through it and as good as Lucas.
Yep.
I mean,
I said the same thing. I was like, if I'm ever in another gunfight, I want Lucas Roethlisberger to be next to me.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
So piggybacking off that, I guess, and I already kind of know the answer because I go through some of it myself. But how does this career affect your family life now? I think, and let's relate it back to before and after the shooting. So you first come out. How did that affect your family life?
When I first came out, I think my family, me as well. With no one really being in law enforcement, I had no one to turn to or ask, what do I expect, especially being a city policeman. Yeah. They had known like friends and old stories. My dad used to work at a bank in South City, and he knew a bunch of guys, and Caruso being one of them. And he had some stories about how those guys would get wild when they went out and stuff, but he never really knew them. So as I got, I think, more, started growing more in my career. I think at first, like telling the stories every day, and your first foot pursuit, your first vehicle pursuit, like it's like the craziest thing ever, and you think it's so cool. And maybe there's a shooting or a homicide where you're on the news camera, and mom or dad will send it to you. I saw you on the news, whatever. But after that, it definitely got less and less cool. At least for me, I just got more and more used to it, like everybody else. Now that after the shooting happened, I don't know if you've experienced this, but like with the news articles and other things that have came out, like I feel like people that like I don't really even know, like will, reach out or say something or will ask, about me and stuff, and I feel bad all the time because I've never even met them before. That happens quite a fair amount with, my mom and dad own bars in Oakville, and everybody that goes in there, and I haven't met more than half of them. I feel so bad every time I go in there because a few of them I know and they're regulars, but then like other ones will you can see it. They're kind of whispering at the end of the bar. You know, that's Colleen and Joe's son, and I know why it's there, why they're saying something. You know, but I think it's made definitely my marriage grow and mature. That's for sure. Her whole family's city cops. Nothing like that has ever happened to any of her family members that were policemen, thank God. But you know, it definitely made us mature a lot more and appreciate a lot more.
Yeah.
Be grateful for, you know, things that I never really realized that I had prior to my shooting, when I definitely thought I was going to die. So definitely more grateful, yeah, for sure.
No, I think that's a great way to put it. So, where were you shot at?
I was hit in the arm once. This one went through and through, and then I was hit in my right abdomen. The bullet, thank God, stopped an inch before my spine. So it's still in there. They can't get it out. It's too close to my spine. Lucas was hit like here. It hit off his rib cage, thank God, and actually circled around to his back too and stopped. They got his out, so he's lucky. But you know, mine's still in there. It's painful. I mean, it doesn't feel great, but you know, I don't even think about it anymore. I'm just happy to be here. So
yeah, I still got one in my left leg here. So
how does it are like the nerves in there pretty much done? Because like the nerves in my back and my lower right back are gone. Like
yeah,
dead.
I don't have feeling basically from about here down. So I
Oh
don't.
my Lord.
I don't feel anything.
That's why I say I'm grateful, because that's worse than my back, man.
You could. I mean, like I get like little things like when they went in and tested it and stuff. Like to test my nerves and stuff, they would shove needles into my leg. If they get down far enough, I can feel it. You know, if they hit the bone or something. But like skin touch, I can't. I can't feel. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So my bullet it's just I don't even know it's there. I mean, I actually had it. I've been having issues with my leg, so I actually had an X-ray to see if it had moved, but it's just
lodged in there.
Yep.
That's insane, man. It's insane how the body works.
Yeah.
Tell you what.
I'm sure at some point, you know, they always make their way out. You hear, I can't remember. I think it's been 5 or 6 years ago. I was reading an article about a guy from World War II that had one in his butt, and it had like worked its way like basically all the way out. So they just went in and removed it. Dude's like, you know, almost 100, and he's getting it removed because it was bothering him when he sat down.
Right.
But
I think I watched too much End to Watch or Cops or something. I don't know, CSI, but every movie I've ever watched, every gangster movie, they always get it removed. Or Mark Wahlberg's in the bathroom with, you know, a scalpel doing it himself. And then when I went, I'm like, the day after, I was in the hospital for one night at Barnes, and I love the Barnes crew. They're amazing. They take care of me and do everything and tell me how to take care of my wounds, tell me how to relearn, how to do stuff with the right side of your back and whatever, and your arm pretty much, you know, the nerves are dead, so you're going to have to learn either way. And I remember in the shower the next day, I'd like get my walker, and my wife, we're laughing about it now. We were laughing then too, because I'm like sitting there, I'm like, God, I didn't feel like I'm an old man now. I'm only 24 years old. She helps me in the shower. I'm sitting there and I'm like holding on to the wall in my apartment, showering. And I'm like, what is that? And I'm looking down at my arm. I'm like, what is that? And it's shrapnel. Yeah. And I'm like, it's coming out, and I'm like throwing it down the drain. I'm like, I guess it's somewhat, you know, kind of a little bit like those scenes, you know, it came out eventually. But yeah, the surgeon explained to me that when you have a bullet in your body pretty much will grow like around it because it knows it's a foreign object and will push it out. Yep. So it's incredible.
Yep.
But
it's wild. Yeah, I mean, like 95% of the time now they leave bullets in people.
That's insane.
It's, you know, it's just what they do now. I guess it's more of a pain to go in and remove it, and, you know, more stitches and stuff. Unless they see it right there, they're not going to grab it. But, yeah, I guess just don't get shot because you're going to have your bullet in you now. So I guess wrapping up, where are you at now, like in your policing career? Are you wanting to move somewhere? You like the third district? You like the beat well enough? And
You know, I've moved around just a little bit within the district. You know, the bureau, and worked with Jerry Koziaki for a while. He was my kind of like my first actual real FTO on the street after FTO. But I don't think that's really quite like for me yet. You know, like I don't know. Those guys are dealing with so much stuff back there that I definitely don't want to go back there.
Mhm.
And I respect them and I appreciate those guys for what they do. I think like something like SWAT or mobile or one of the more still out and moving about, I think that would probably be right for me now. I got so much to learn. You know, I learned something new still every day, but if I never were to move, I'm okay being in the third district. Like,
Yeah.
I like it. It's good. I have really good commanders right now.
Good food.
Good food. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
really good food. I
Good
actually
deal.
need to stop eating it because God. No, great food. It's a good area. It's got its kind of bad areas and it's got its good areas, but I'd be okay just being a patrolman. I think that's I think it's always overlooked.
Yeah.
You know.
No, absolutely. I think that there's a lot of pride that you can have just wearing, blue.
Yeah.
Even for a whole career, I see a lot of guys that walk away, 20, 30 years on cop the whole time, and
Right.
they're happy.
Yep. Exactly.
So that's a big deal. But
yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
It was a
Pleasure
pleasure
to finally meet you, man.
Good to meet you.
Perfect.